morning. Thank you all for attending our town's Memorial Day ceremony. My name is Ed Kelley. I am a member of the Veterans Advisory Council, and I'm honored to be here as the Master of Ceremonies today. On behalf of the Town of Scituate, the Veterans Services Department, the Select Board, the Veterans Advisory Council, and distinguished guests, we welcome you to today's ceremony. I'd like to begin by introducing the individuals you see behind me, our town officials. Mr. James Boudreau, the town administrator. He can be seen roaming the crowd. Mr. Andrew W. Goodrich, Select Board Chairman. Mrs. Susan J. Harrison, Select Board Vice Chairman. Mr. James M. Gilmore, Select Board Clerk. Mrs. Karen B. Canfield of the Select Board. Mr. Dennis Bedore, Commander of the American Legion Post 144. Deacon Maddie Henry from St. Mary's of the Nativity Church. Our distinguished guests, Mr. James Hunt, our keynote speaker this afternoon. And Ms. Lauren Flynn, who will sing the national anthem in God Bless America. And Mr. Joseph P. Kelley, past chairman of the Veterans Advisory Council and a Gold Star parent. In 1963, the U.S. Congress designated Gold Star Mother's Day, the last Sunday in September, and it was officially expanded to include Gold Star families in 2012. The Gold Star family is present-day term referencing a family that lost a family member while serving in the military. The town would like to take this time to acknowledge all the Gold Star families whose loved ones paid the ultimate sacrifice in fighting for our nation's freedom. In May 1868, General John A. Logan, the Commander-in-Chief of the Union Veterans Group known as the Grand Army of the Republic, issued a decree that May 30th should become a nationwide day of commemoration for the more than 620,000 soldiers killed in the recently ended Civil War. On Decoration Day, as Logan dubbed it, Americans should lay flowers and decorate the graves of war dead, whose bodies now lie in almost every city, village, and hamlet churchyard in the land. According to legend, Logan chose May 30th because it was a rare day that didn't fall on the anniversary of a Civil War battle. Though some historians believe the date was selected to ensure that flowers across the country would be in full bloom. Memorial Day now is celebrated on the first Monday closest to May 30th. At this time, I'd like to welcome to the podium Deacon Maddie Henry from St. Mary's of the Nativity Church. Deacon Maddie, will you please lead us in the invocation?
Thank you. We gather here together on this Memorial Day to honor all those men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice, giving their lives for our country and our freedoms, as well as all our veterans who served and made it home to their loved ones, but whose lives were changed and impacted in ways only they know, and especially all of you here with us this afternoon. Our veterans, by their sacrifices, have earned for us the freedoms that we enjoy and the ability to live our lives in peace, to work, raise our families, and love our God, to name a few. May we never take what they have earned for us for granted, and always be grateful and thankful for their service and sacrifices. May God bless all veterans and their families, and may He bestow His abundant love and peace on all of them. Amen.
Thank you, Deacon Maddie. Now, Scituate Pack 7 and Scout Troop 7 will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pack 7 and Troop 7. Please be seated. We will now have welcoming remarks from Select Board Chairman Andrew Goodrich. Thank you.
About 3 weeks ago, I was lucky enough to visit the Gates Middle School as they had a presentation of all of the 8th grade civics class projects. This was the culmination of their work for the year, which would show off the students' ideas to improve Scituate and the general community. It was a very busy auditorium, with poster board displays of every topic, including recycling initiatives, bicycle rentals, things about artificial intelligence and social media accounts to track data. But among the sea of these abstract ideas, one display struck me. It was simple. It had some colorful rocks and some flowers, but it stood alone in its defiance of its need to be state-of-the-art. The project was called the Poppy Project. The idea was simple, the student explained. She and her friends simply wanted to paint the poppy flower onto rocks with great care. And for any family member who wanted one of a fallen veteran, they would either leave them on the gravesite or give it to the family. I asked her how she came up with this idea. She simply replied, "It just seemed like the right thing to do, to remember those who did so much for us." Perfect. The perfect answer. So I was able to find a student who understood not just the assignment, but civics itself. Now, I don't know if that project won any prize that day, though on a side note, civics shouldn't be subject to winning anyway. Civics is like friendship or faith. Civics is something that can only be practiced and never won. But I do know that I left the school that day with a bit more pride and hope. At this time of year, I often hear the fear and concern that Memorial Day is becoming just another weekend for a great sale or maybe the best time to put your boat in the water. Now, it's easy to fall into that trap, but it's not the full story. The Cub Scouts of Troop 7 spent parts of last week cleaning and placing flags at veterans' cemeteries all around town. And they did this with great care, reverence, anticipation, and also excitement. So I'm here today to report to you that the next generation behind us looks ready to ensure that our shared values, our collective gratitude toward our fallen heroes, are not forgotten. They understand that Scituate is part of a bigger whole, with our own stories of bravery, of our own fallen veterans, which weave together this tapestry of our shared heritage. So to our family members of fallen veterans, and to the veterans here today, know that you are loved, and know that you will be remembered for generations to come. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Andrew. All right, now I'd like to bring to the podium Mr. Dennis Bador, the commander of American Legion Post 144.
It's nice to see all of you could make it in this terrible weather. It's too bad the sun wasn't out. But I'm glad you're all here, and I am grateful for one thing, being a Vietnam veteran, none of you are going to throw anything at me. So, I found this in one of my scrapbooks from Ronald Reagan. I don't want to get accused of plagiarism, so he's the one that wrote it. I wouldn't have the brains to write something this great. So I'll get on with it. It is in a way an odd thing to honor those who have died in defense of our country in wars far away. The imagination plays a trick. We see these soldiers in our minds as old and wise. We see them as something like founding fathers, gray and gray-haired. But most of them were boys when they died. They gave up two lives, the one they were living and the one they would have lived. When they died, they gave up their chances to be husbands, fathers, and grandfathers. They gave up their chance to be revered old men. They gave up everything for their country, for us. All we can do is remember. And I guess that's all I got to say. Usually I'm quite a windbag, but...
Thank you, Dennis. All right, we have Mr. Greg Lassard and the Gates Intermediate School Band is now going to play America the Beautiful. Introduce our keynote speaker for today, Mr. Jim Hunt. He enlisted in the United States Navy in 1962 while still a student at Scituate High School. He served 10 years before receiving an officer's commission in 1972. He served on several ships and several land bases, including 2 combat tours in Vietnam. He retired after 24 years of active service and returned to Scituate with his family. He served the Scituate Town government in various roles for 12 years, including the Traffic Rules Committee, Planning Board, and Veterans Advisory Council. He currently serves as treasurer and board member of the Scituate Food Pantry. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Hunt.
Sound test. All right. Thank you, Ed, for that kind introduction. And thank you for the opportunity to share a few thoughts with you as we gather to enjoy this beautiful day so far in the company of friends, family, and to watch a parade of flags, music, fire trucks, and uniforms, and the ATV that I got to ride in. And to pause and reflect upon what today really means. After all, Memorial Day marks the traditional beginning of summer. School is almost out, boats are going in the water, and Lowe's has real deals on snow shovels. And Aubuchon is selling gas grills for not quite twice what they're really worth. Barbecue, beach, and baseball are on our minds, and we can hardly wait to get started. But hold on just a minute. This is Memorial Day, the day that by tradition honors the sacrifice and loss of those who served and died in the service of their country. It's Memorial Day, not Flag Day, or Armed Forces Day, or even Veterans Day, but Memorial Day, a day to honor the dead on the battlefield. So let's do just that. Look around you here at this beautiful Lawson Park with its three little elephants dancing in the middle of their pool. Take a moment to see the various memorials placed here on this park to commemorate those brave men and women who, as Abraham Lincoln so eloquently said, offered their last full measure of devotion. And they gave their very lives to defend the freedoms that we enjoy today. At Bunker Hill, at Gettysburg, at Fredericksburg, Belleau Wood, Pearl Harbor, the beaches of Normandy, the Chosin Reservoir, the Yad Ring Valley, Khe Sanh, and the Tonkin Gulf, at Fallujah, and even in Shikin, Afghanistan, they answered the call of duty with courage and conviction. There are so many that we've literally lost count. The Department of Defense currently estimates more than 82,000 Americans remain missing from World War II, Korea, Vietnam, the Cold War, and the War on Terror. There are so many that the American Battle Monuments Commission, whose motto is, "Time will not dim the glory of their deeds," maintains 26 cemeteries in 17 foreign countries around the world. These cemeteries contain the remains of American men and women who died on foreign soil and who were not returned to their hometowns for burial. There are more than 140,000 American men and women interred at these cemeteries, together with memorials recognizing the missing in action and those lost at sea. I've had the privilege to visit Battle Monuments Commission cemeteries in Manila, Philippines, Normandy in France, and the National Memorial Cemetery of the Pacific at the Punch Bowl in Honolulu. And of course, the National Park Service's Arizona Memorial at Pearl Harbor. I've had the sad duty of burying a shipmate at Arlington National Cemetery. Seeing these acres of white grave markers, row upon row, reminds us of the words from the poem Flanders Fields by Canadian Army officer John McCrae, who wrote his poem after burying a close friend who was killed in the Flanders region of Belgium in 1915. The American Cemetery in Wertheim, Belgium, is the final resting place for 368 military personnel who gave their lives in liberating Belgium in World War I, the war to end all wars. The first two stanzas of McCrae's poem are my favorites. In Flanders Field, the poppies blow, between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky, the larks still bravely singing fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders Fields. So So these are the fallen. Their sacrifices remind us that freedom is not free. It comes at a terrible cost, one that is paid in blood, sweat, tears, and that awful empty seat at the supper table. It is a debt that we can never fully repay, but one that we can honor by remembering their courage, remembering their sacrifice, remembering their unwavering commitment to duty, honor, country. So remembering is the key. But just how can we remember them? Who were they? There are too many names to memorize them all. I suggest that we just say their names. Before you leave here today, take a moment to examine one or two or even all of the stones and plaques on this common. The Civil War Memorial is right here behind me. The World War I honor roll is in the far corner on the southeast corner. The names of the fallen there are marked with a star. Adjacent to it are the police and firefighter memorials. The Korean War Memorial is right there to my left. The Desert Storm, Desert Shield Memorial is over by the porta potty. The Vietnam War Memorial and the World War II Memorial are on the corner where the two mortars lie. Behind me on that west corner. Unfortunately, the World War II Memorial, containing the names of the lost, was removed for repair many years ago and was never replaced. Of all these memorials around us, only the firefighter, World War I, Korean War, and Vietnam War memorials list the actual names of those who died on the field of fire in the service of their country. So here on Lawson Park, we can find the names of 4 fallen firefighters, 1 fallen police officer, 10 World War I casualties, 1 Korean War, and 10 Vietnam War casualties whose names we can actually say. Cudworth Veterans Cemetery across the street contains at least 1 more from the war in Afghanistan. Sergeant Michael Jason Kelley died in an enemy rocket attack on his helicopter landing zone in June of 2005, 19 years ago. Michael was the first Massachusetts National Guardsman to die in combat in Afghanistan. He was posthumously awarded the Bronze Star in a ceremony that I was honored to attend. Michael's sister often recites a poem titled "We Remember Them," containing these prophetic words. At the rising sun and in its going down, we remember them. At the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we remember them. At the opening of the buds and in the rebirth of spring, we remember them. At the blueness of the skies and in the warmth of summer, we remember them. At the rustling of the leaves and in the beauty of the autumn, we remember them. At the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember them. As long as we live, they too will live, for they are now a part of us. We remember them. So again, I encourage you to just say their names. Say their names and think about how their mothers must have received the news, how their wives, children, fathers, sisters, and brothers must have grieved when that telegram arrived, when the casualty assistance officer and the chaplain knocked on the door. I have performed that sad but honorable duty more than once. The experience is a humbling one. I assure you. It is all too easy for those who have never suffered such losses to see past the holes that were left in the families and the communities. That's simply human nature. As Franklin D. Roosevelt once said, those who have long enjoyed such privileges as we enjoy forget in time that men have died to win them. Before I close, I would like to demonstrate that I practice what I preach. Every year since 2010, I have posted on social media a special tribute to a few local Scituate heroes. And I am proud and privileged to say their names. It goes like this. On this Memorial Day, I choose to remember those I knew personally who made the ultimate sacrifice. I honor without reservation Joseph Thomas Hunt, United States Marine Corps. Laz, John Francis Lazarovich, United States Marine Corps. Jimmy, James Edward Dolan, United States Army. Nuke, Wayne Paul Newcomb, United States Marine Corps, and high school classmate of mine. And Michael Jason Kelley, United States Army National Guard. All of whom I was privileged to know personally and who grew up in my hometown. Some were my age, some were my children's ages. There are many others from many other wars, and all of those deserve our respect and admiration as we celebrate this most solemn day. But these 5 friends of mine, these Scituate lads who went to war with their heads held high and came home in a box, while those of us who also served came home reasonably intact. These are my heroes, every one of them. Just thought you'd like to know. So thank you for remembering with me and saying their names. Now go and enjoy your summer. God bless us all.
Thank you, Mr. Hunt. That was very, very heart-touching. All right, now the high school band. They are going to be playing our national march. amazing job, high school band under the direction of Jim and Ann. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we'll have a reading of the names of the Scituate veterans who have passed since last Memorial Day. Reading the names today is Joseph P. Kelley, the Veterans Advisory Council, and a Gold Star parent. And then the Lawson Tower, the bells will be playing by musician Lene Badger as he reads the names. Mr. Kelley.
Thank you, Ed. Before I begin, I'd just like to thank Jim again. Most meaningful keynote speaker I've heard in a long, long time. Thank you very much. Okay, as Ed mentioned, I'm going to read the names of veterans that have passed away since last Memorial Day. We begin with Joseph Leslie Hughes, Korea. Murray Kerry Jr., peacetime. Donald Roland Roy, peacetime. Bartley G. Salento, MD, Vietnam. Here's my kid's doctor, Dr. Salento. William Henry Sullivan, Korea. Frank P. Fazina, Korea. Robert Edward Tilden, Vietnam. Paul M. McDonald, peacetime. Edwin Medeiros, albino, Korea. Andrew M. Casabelli, World War II. Carl Sixton Sandberg, Jr., Vietnam. Ronald Brian Wheatley, Vietnam. Robert Russell Turgis, Vietnam. Edward McCaffrey, Korea. Robert A. Young, Vietnam. Thomas King, Korea. John Thomas Poirier, Korea. John Joseph Keegan, Korea. William Ian Young, Vietnam. Brendan Francis Lynch, peacetime. Donald S. Nulich, Vietnam. Bruce F. Clough, Vietnam. Frank J. Connors, Korea. Francis J. Frey, Jr., Vietnam. John W. Gainey, Vietnam. Jerome J. Wild, Vietnam. James J. Caselli, Vietnam. Robert Leo Gallagher, peacetime. Arnold Joseph Coker, Jr., Vietnam. Thomas John Keith, IV, Vietnam. Robert Curry, Vietnam. Terry Albert Green, peacetime. Joseph Henry Norton, Jr., Vietnam. Janet E. White, Korea. George B. Waits, Jr., peacetime. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Joe. All right, I'll have Lauren Flynn come on up here. She's going to sing God Bless America. It's not on your program.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
That was beautiful. Thank you very much, Lauren. Now we will have our flag ceremony. This will be conducted by the American Legion Post 144 and Veterans of Foreign Wars Post 3169. Taps will be played by Scituate High School Band. National anthem will be performed by soloist Lauren Flynn following the ceremony. For those that don't know, the flag is being raised behind us. All right, at this time I'd like to bring Lauren Flynn back up to sing our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
That was beautiful. Thank you, Lauren. Also thank the high school band trumpeters who played the taps. Please be seated. As we close, I'll ask Deacon Maddie from St. Mary's the Nativity Parish to lead us in the benediction.
Thank you, Ed. Lord God, keep us ever mindful of the service and sacrifices of all of our veterans, living and deceased. May we always be grateful for all the freedoms and blessings we enjoy because of their service. May the example of their sacrifice inspire in us the selfless love of your Son Jesus, who gave his life for all of us. Please protect all our women and men who are currently serving. Be their guiding force who leads the way and their rear guard who keeps them safe from behind. Bless the families of all of our fallen heroes, all our veterans, and all those men and women currently serving. Fill their homes and their lives with your strength and your peace. And may our servicemen and women always feel our love and support. And we ask all of these in Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you so much, Deacon Maddie. I'd like to end by thanking those who made this day's tribute to our veterans possible. Mike Green and his great staff from the Scituate DPW, who once again worked so hard to maintain all our public grounds, our police and fire departments for their outstanding work and dedication to our community, to American Legion Post 144, the high school and Gates Intermediate School bands for their great job, PAC 7 and Troop 7 who have volunteered with flag placements, our Harbor Master Stephen Moan, who has done a superb job organizing the laying of the wreath at sea to honor all the men and women who lost their lives in the oceans of the world. Also, to organizations who marched in the parade. And a special thanks to our keynote speaker, Mr. Jim Hunt, for his service to our country and for taking the time to honor us with his keynote address. I'd like to end with this quote. This is from singer-songwriter Lee Greenwood. I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. Last but no means least, we'd like to thank the citizens of Scituate who came out to honor our fallen brothers and sisters who gave their lives in service to their families, town, and country. Immediately following the ceremony, there will be a flag ceremony at the Veterans Cemetery on Cudworth Road. Thank you for being here, and have a great day.